Right, YouTube. This is your boy Drew here with Politically Black. And something we haven't touched on in a minute. I talk about the male suicide rate a lot, which has increased since this epidemic has occurred. So this pandemic has occurred. To be fair, they say pandemic, they mean epidemic. The way that they've treated it is more like an epidemic than a pandemic. I don't even want to get into that. But this pandemic has been completely mismanaged, not by necessarily just the Trump administration, but Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is getting away from the company, so he faces no legal recourses for refusing to help the Trump administration deliver vaccines to the states. So Amazon has an advanced delivery system. So this is where the American Manufacturing Production Act comes in. The Emergency Manufacturing and Production Act comes into effect. They have a distribution center set up across multiple states. Multiple different states, they have distribution centers set up. At these distribution centers, they have lines of distribution that run through all the states. All they had to do was add one box per truck. Not even that much. Like one, maybe two boxes per truck of medical supplies. And Bezos said no. That is why they're not getting a tax break probably this year from the government. That'll be why Jeff Bezos is transferring power before he loses money. And before he has to face, he thinks that this is going to get him out of it. It isn't, just so you guys know, because he needs you guys to also believe that he is getting away with this. If you guys believe it, the media pushes it. So you have to remember, whatever you believe is what the media is going to push on people. If you believe that Jeff Bezos did nothing wrong not helping Trump, they are going to make him innocent. It's what it is. Unfortunately, we'll never get a fair trial because the media knew that you knew his name and made sure that everyone knew his name. When they select the jurors for his trial for the mismanagement of his resources under the use of the Emergency Production Act, it'll be a lot of fines. In fact, most of his fortune is going to pay those fines. It's going to be what happens, and he never wanted that. It's a good thing his wife divorced him, because half of his money is not going to be touchable by the U.S. government just because she was not the one running the company. Sorry. You played yourself, Jeff Bezos, and we as the American people do not support you. In case you didn't learn anything from GME, let me teach you the lesson. We don't care. We don't care. We don't support you. Making sure the information stays out there, though. Jeff Bezos is the one who did choose to not help the government. The government gave him the option to not help. They had the largest distribution chain. It would only make sense that they would get in trouble for not being actively participating in spreading the vaccines around the states. You would only do this to serve an agenda to make one party look bad, which as soon as Joe Biden won, Amazon was suddenly willing to distribute the vaccine across the US. It was really weird. Really, really weird, guys. Shit. That's insane. That's insane. Now, if you look at Jeff Bezos and go, there's no crisis that's impacting men, especially not of the suicide end or the war on men. Let's talk about the war on men. It's a psychological war. The war on men dictates that men can be women too, and that women can be men. That's really interesting. Ladies, serious question. Why don't you play some NFL football? Send me your biggest, strongest, tallest, baddest, whatever you got. I'll make them football players. And I will put them against the worst teams in the league, just to see how they do it first. Then if they beat them, I'll put them against the best teams in the league to see where they're placed. And then after taking average medians, when they end up being placed below the NFL players on all tiers and all charts, because top 500 running men don't even have within the same realm of top 500 running women. Guys train just as hard, women train just as hard for their sports, but here's the sad part. All that training a woman does is overwritten in 1 minute. One. When Joe Biden gets into office, signs an executive order that says, and now, men can play women's sports too. It didn't say women can play men's sports. That's sexism, just outright. Outright, that's sexism. It is conditioning men to think that they need to feminize. See, that's been the war on men, is you need to feminize. The whole, oh, men have feelings, need to open them. I'm going to tell you the real truth. Shut the fuck up about your feelings and put them in your back pocket, because this world is going to do nothing but use them against you. Find people you love and care about. Those people need to know your feelings. The world does not. Put them back in your back pocket, because the world will destroy you. Remember that. As a man, this does not apply to a woman, because no woman sitting on the side of the road crying her eyes out got ignored by every car that was passing in the rain. That didn't happen to a chick. That only happens to guys. They're telling you as a guy every day you're not good enough. Remember Gillette? We will never forget Gillette. We will never forgive. And much like Jeff Bezos, you are never gonna live that down. That's why my fucking electric razor's a Philips and a Relco, because I won't fuck with fucking Gillette after that shit. I won't buy a cheap little dinky razor pack that I can throw away, because I'd rather have an electric razor now at this point. Company's good, they don't speak on politics. The war on men goes so deep that we're talking about a war that begins with, well, Generation 1 of feminism. What was the goal? 20% of women wanted the right to vote. 20%. 80% of women wanted the first-class citizen treatment without having to do any of the duties of a first-class citizen, which was a fine way of working the nation. There was a period where men signed their checks over to their girlfriends, their wives, because when they would cash them, the bank couldn't take taxes out against the wives. Now, we're all taxable. Women are actually, depending on the situation, more taxable depending on the job field, because, well, you're not going to be working most of the year. So, they tax you more. It's what happens. I'm sorry that you guys got conned into something bad that not even your grandmas wanted. That sucks. That really sucks. On the other end, 51% of employment right now belongs to women, or it did prior to the crisis. I am telling you right now, they're not going to fix that. That's not going backwards and reverse. They're going to keep doing this. Why? Because it makes you as a man miserable to be surrounded by miserable women. Men want to be around happy women. It's what we want. We want to be around women who can have fun, have a good time. That's what we want. We don't want to be surrounded by mopey women. We don't. But that's what they're creating on the left, is mopey, miserable, dried up, tired. Honestly, the stress makes you look ugly. And ugly women, that's all that's coming. There's a reason they look like that. Like, there's a stereotype of what they look like, and they have the glasses, the blue armpit hair, and all of it, the whole 9 yards. Like, it's all the same. They want to be genderless, identityless blobs. I hate to say it, but if you're a lady, a gender is just a part of you. Like, it's not what defines you. But it does say something about your biological desires and needs, which people often tend to ignore. I don't think psychology gives it enough credit. We have biological needs. I have a biological need to protect. That is what that is. That's what being a man is you have a biological need to protect those around you. Women have a biological need to nurture those around them, because protecting and nurturing, though in the same world, are not inherently the same thing, and men don't care about others the same way. How I show my feelings of caring is, you tell me about a problem, I'll stick with you through that problem, help you find an answer, help you find the answer, or help you with the problem to the best of my abilities. That's how I show I care. Women consider the listening aspect showing caring. That is a huge difference between men and women. Men hear the problem and process the problem and come up with answers to the problem. Women tend to just hear the problem. That's it. There is no more. And that's it. That is a nurturing stance versus a protective stance. A nurturing stance is, well, I listened to you and you vented your hurt and I heard it out. Okay, what did that do for the person now? Did you teach them how to fix their situation, or did you just listen to them? And now you're bitching about you listened. You guys get it? Where the social expectation was put on men to bear their feelings in the open, and women just shit all over men for that? For the last 10, 20, 30 years in this country? Men have come out with their feelings. Look what happened to Terry Crews. Wendy Williams, you will never be forgotten. You will never be forgiven. What did you do to Terry Crews? I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to make people look it up. What did you do? You fucking piece of shit daytime host. What did you do? I'm seriously furious, and I'm furiously serious. I'm going to sign off here, and I'm going to just let you know, brothers, it's going to get harder before it gets easier, and that's just the way of the world right now. We need to start building our own. Like, I'm going to be honest, it sounds bad. We probably need a brothers only gym, so that way there won't be women in there trying to say that they got raped. And no, you're trans woman, you're trans man, that don't count either. Sorry, go. Get out. Just go. We don't want it. But as men, we need to have our own spaces, and the society is not going to create them, so we need to create them. That means if you're a man running a business right now, and you, because of a government contract, had to hire 50 women, you need to think about if that's even your business. If it ain't, fucking get out, start over, build a new business, start from scratch. It's going to take a lot of time. Get that bitch off the ground. Get people who want to work for you. That's all I'm going to say. Is that 51% of the workforce right now also doesn't want to be there either. So, I mean, that's another huge problem. But again, I'm signing off. This is Gamer Guy Vladimir, aka Drew. Also, signing off here is Politically Black, and I am out.